I've had to divide my beehive pair again. They've spawned before I've been pulled, and the divider got in to give her a break again. They are very hard on each other during spawning. They're divided in a 4x2, so plenty of room, plenty of filtration. But it was really, to be honest, more sort of, well, I suppose you could call it a care guide for beehive. So I'm finished filling this tank back up yet. I just didn't want to leave the hose running while I was doing the video because I've got a habit of letting them overflow. But these are the last of these before they go out. I'm keeping 6 back for myself, in being one of them. But yeah, Maya Heroes Beani, or Cyclosoma Beani, Ex-Cyclosoma Beani, Nandopsis Beani. Call them what you will, well you can't call them Nandopsis anymore because they come from the mainland, don't they? So they're not Caribbean species. But from the northwestern coast of Mexico, where water flows down from the Sierra Madre Mountains, which ultimately affects the temperature. Well, the night air drops to the 50s, but the body of water would still stay higher than that due to the temperatures that it's raised to during the daytime. So they're not quite as delicate as people think when it comes to temperature and things like the ability to deal with swings of the temperature going up and down. But there was a body of water that was in South California that was home to a feral population that has long gone. But habitat-wise, they prefer clear water, moderate to high flow. Yeah, they'll usually find them amongst rocks and other sunken like structure and bits of. Well, I don't know if there's much bogwood in that where they're from. Actually, I think it's mainly like rocky outcrops and that. But usually such habitats have a slightly alkaline pH, so not quite as higher in pHs like for your amps and all that, but moderate hardness. Tank bred that been able to withstand a wide range of parameters, I think so. Anyway, I'm trying to go between what's put down as facts about this species and which is just been plucked off the net, and also me adding in bits of what I found through keeping them and breeding them, to the point where I've bred so many that I've even done tests on. I know it sounds bad, but to see if I could trigger bloat in some, and you know what I mean. I've treated others all the same and seen if any of them did, and there's so many arguments to what causes bloat in them. Obviously stress, but stress is normally just the trigger of something. It's like where its immune system isn't strong enough to cope with the situation, or I think it must be something like pathogens that are in the water that it's normally able to deal with, and then when it becomes stressed and weak, that it then bloats. I mean, they're just theories, but I can't find any clear-cut reason for it. Like I said, one reason I found more than anything else, more than food, diet, temperature, anything, was moving them. Yeah, it was strange. I put that. I mean, yeah, I get it's the stress of being netted, I suppose, and then moved. But even when the tank that they're being moved to is like pretty much exactly the exact same parameters as what they're in, and on top of that, I do a 50% water change on these, but I'll do it split up twice a week, 25% each time. But I use RO mixed with tap water just because my tap water is so bad where I am, and it's so high in pH. It's like 8.6, TDS of around 400. out the cold tap. Yeah, it's terrible. But so yeah, there is a lot of myths surrounding these, but size wise, they've been recorded as getting up to 16 inches. I've heard people try and convince me that there's 18, 20 inch bean-eye, but if there is, I've never seen one. And I don't mean I've never seen one. I've never seen a full size one in person anyway. But I mean, like even a photo of one, like an actual photo where someone's got a ruler against it or something. You know what I mean? Something where you can actually see the size of it. There's a bloke on YouTube, I think Joe Fullgetter. He's got a monstrous pair of San Pedro bean-eye, the Rio Blancos. That male I think is about 14, 15 inch, but I believe they're wild caught as well. But I'm not sure whether he got them small and grew them to that size, or whether they were that size because they've come out of obviously a huge, vast, wild body of water. But long term, you're looking at minimum for a pair 622, like in America, a 180, a 150 if you're in the UK. But like a 622 is a minimum really you want to look at long term for an adult pair. I mean, I've got my juvenile pair, and that male's, I'd say about 10 inches. That tank is over 4 foot wide and it's 2 foot front and back, and I've got them divided. So, and with that as well, it's got a sump that holds like running operating level 180 litres of water, which is what 45 US gallons in the sump as well. So that on top of the tank, you've got quite a good bit of dilution there. And I've got a ton of biomedia in there. I've got Pophos in there. I've even got a reactor running really slowly with Ciprex in it, because you do actually get a nitrate reduction with Ciprex if you run it slow enough for it on the reactor. But I've got that in within max spec biospheres. To be honest, I honestly can't tell you the difference between the Biohome, the Marine Pure. Not that I can't tell you the difference. I could tell you the difference between that and say a crappy media. Yeah, one that I've noticed that I've had problems with. But all of them medias I mentioned that I use, the JBL Micromech is my new favourite one, just because you can cram so much of it into a filter. But and the surface area of it. But yeah, the Eon Substrat Pro, the Biohome Ultimate. The only one I won't put into that would be Ciprex, just because if you're putting in a canister filter, it's not really going to do much for nitrate reduction. But for taking out ammonia, I think it's probably one of the best biomedias there is. But yeah, like I said, I use a UV steriliser for my pair, for my big pair, just because it isn't a known fact of what causes the bloat, and whether it is down to a pathogen in the water that's making it come out or whatever, I don't know. So rather than take that chance, I've just put a UV which I've got connected up to the reactor, which I've just got water trickling through, so it's got maximum contact time. But yeah, I've got to go and sort out a long-term tank for the bean-eye, for the pair that I've got in my living room. I'm still, I'm unsure what I want to do. Whether I want to get them a pair, get as the pair, you know what I mean, one tank, like a 622, and or preferably bigger, and divide it, or just have him alone in a 522 with a tank like a 622 with a load of females, different species of females, and just keep the males singly on their own in their own tanks. Yeah, I think it does seem a lot fairer, although you've got a lot more fish mixed in one tank. If you put in a load of females in together, they're still getting the, you know what I mean, the benefit of the bigger, you know what I mean, footprint. So I mean, like with him, There's 3 females I keep, so I've got the light turned down low on it. I'm running these aqua skies at the minute, frugal aqua skies. They're not, I wouldn't say they're the best lights in the world, but for the money, I mean they're cheap lights, so you can't really complain, but they do the trick. To be fair, the reason I went for them was just because of the low amount of heat that they produce. But yeah, he's turned into a lovely fish. He always has been like special, that fish, but yeah, no, he's getting warmer, definitely. But yeah, got the RTMs down there. Still unsure of what to do with them. Do I keep them or do I say bye? I don't know what to do with them yet. Sorry, the camera's not focusing. Yeah, and as I get closer, she shoots off. But yeah, sorry, I know that weren't much really of a care guide, so to speak, but it was just, there's so little information out there, and oh, that's the other thing as well, feeding, because there is 1 or 2 videos on YouTube about keeping them and feeding them and that. I agree with most things of what other people say on there, apart from the thing about bloodworm. One thing I noticed was that whether it's freeze-dried, frozen, whatever, I wouldn't give them live bloodworm anyway, but after eating it, if I fed them that, and then I fed them, what they call it, it's these things here, Nova Effect, the tablets that stick to the glass that they just pick at, but the veggie tablets. If I gave them freeze-dried bloodworm and this stuck to the thing, the fry were fine. If I gave them bloodworm on their own, I noticed the ones that did have it compared to the ones that were I'd feed, because I'd have them in separate tanks. And I've noticed that bloodworm, every single one I've had bloat on me, has been one of the ones that has had bloodworm in its diet. I'm not saying I haven't had other ones bloat as well, but that's usually been one that's been terrorised by the others, and then I'll come in the morning and it'll be up in the left or right hand corner of the tank. Once it's up in the corners, you know that that fish there is just a ticking time bomb, it's on its way out. I've also heard people saying about bloat like it's a disease. I don't know if I believe that or not. People saying it's contagious and that, but I've had fish get it out of a whole group 1 and then that was it. I mean, no doubt if whatever it is that's making one bloat is in the water column or whatever the reason is, and they're all doing that, no doubt they all will bloat as well. But I don't necessarily think that it's catching. The reason I think people say that is because they get the white stringy shit, which is normally a sign of intestinal parasites. But it's something they end up getting. Even ones that I've had that I've homebred myself and that have only ever been fed on, it was either what I just showed you then, the Nova Effect, or it's this one here. This is what I give the smaller fry. So for the larger fish, obviously I have that, things like the cichlid gold and that, and the massive one, but this here liquid fry is, what does it say about it? Baby Plus fry growth food. It's from Interpet, so I mean it's only a cheapie. I paid, I think it was about $5 for a tub, but the fry seems to do well on it. I've done better than it's not that they do better. I think it's better to buy better quality flakes and then crush them myself, but it is very time consuming, and there's a lot of waste involved because a lot of what you put in is still too big for them, so it ends up going on the floor. So for the first time in the hobby, I've actually deliberately introduced pest snails into my tanks. I've dropped some in there, some ramshorn and trumpet snails, just to help with any detritus. But yeah, because I haven't got the UV in there, I've got the Ocean Free, the Hydra Stream. Oh, that's a point. That reminds me, I've still got to drop one of them off to someone. I meant to drop it off about a week ago. Shit. out if you're watching. I ain't forgot you, mate. Or if you're passing tomorrow at any point, I'm here, mate. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know what else to say really about them. Yeah, they're not as delicate as people think. Just they don't do well with big changes. So try and do, if you're going to do water changes. I know the Americans have this obsession with huge water changes, like 75, and sometimes I've even seen people doing it like 90% and having the fish down on their sides. I mean, it's not that. It's just if in the space of I mean, it depends, I suppose, as well on your local water. But if you're living in London, and say for example, like I'm using Bogwood right hand with that, and that's a new piece, so that's why the water's that colour. So obviously from the tannins, so that's dropping the pH, although not like hugely. It's noticeable, and if once a week I was to do that amount there like that, then the pH would be dropping up and down, up and down. You know what I mean, constantly. So that's why now I'm going to be putting half of this up with RO and half of it with tap water. But yeah, loads of these are going now. I'm going to get the flavs out. I'm keeping about 10 back as divers. A lot of the stuff's going to be going now. I'm just going to be going for some of the more specialist sort of species, or harder to keep species, like I was saying before. Just because it's the challenge of breeding them that I enjoy more than the actual. I suppose I do enjoy keeping fish and all that, and all the stuff that goes with it. But the main part for me is swanning them. But so yeah, I'm gonna well, I'm going to get someone to be ordering me some fish soon, very, very soon. So, yeah, watch this space for that. But, yeah, to start off with, I've got mine, these growing out in a 2 foot tank, little 70 litre. But, as I said, I did have, I kept back 30 from this batch. I then culled them down to 20. No, I culled them down to 22. Two of them were killed from sibling aggression, and 10 were sold. So yeah, I've got I do have I'm overrun with these at the minute, but smaller sizes than this. But yeah, they are definitely a fun species to keep and to breed. They're not actually that hard to breed either. As long as you just give them, I found, give them RO water mixed with tap water, good filtration, plenty of flow going through the tank. If you're using sponge filters, just put like a wave maker style pump in there to get the current turning over it a bit more, and they're pretty much as easy as any other cichlid is. One, it's just getting the pair. The bondings with them are a bit iffy, so don't count on it being, you know what I mean, your usual sort of lifelong monogamous cichlid like pairing that you get. Pairings with these, sorry, I should have done this before I've done the video really, but yeah, the pairings with these can be somewhat dodgy, so I won't go away on any sort of long trips and leave like your adult pair undivided or anything like that, or even sub-adults if you've only got a pair or something. If I didn't have a breeding pair, then I would grow these out separately rather than risk losing them, because it's one of them, when you've got loads of them, yeah, alright, you're overrun, but then if you ever needed to get them again, can you just like that? I mean, the prices I've seen them advertised for, and they're for smaller fish than this, and I think they were £30 or £40 each for the El Camelays. Yeah, I was putting them all up at £5 each on Courage Classifieds. But yeah, they're all sold now for there. I've got other stuff up on there for sale, Cubans, RTNs, flavs, What else have I got? Oh, I've got Freddy's. I'm going to be selling 2 of them. And I've got something in the tank, the Freddy tank, doing its nuts in a minute. I don't know what that was, but oh no, I do. That Cuban's just jumped the divider and got him with the commode, so I better move it before it's bye bye, Cuban.